Welcome to Two Poor Artists, where we're poor at making tutorials, but mostly we're poor at making art. My name's Benj.
And my name's Isaac. And this week, we have taken a page out of the playbook of another artist who has greatly inspired both of us.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the only channel that our channel is subscribed to.
I think we're also subscribed to Bob Ross, but we're not talking about Bob Ross, oddly enough.
No, of course not.
He's inspired us in certain ways.
We had to prove him wrong.
Prove him wrong. But there's another artist who has inspired this channel despite his use of color.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the greatest artist, but he is a great artist.
Yes.
Oliver, age 24.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you might be, whatever you might be drawing, we're thinking of you today. If you've never watched Oliver, age 24's channel, that's not that surprising. But you also should.
Mm-hmm.
He does an excellent
he's
job.
He's the one that taught us that any real art has your name and age on it.
As we know now. As you know now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to him through us. But yes, he specializes in drawing tutorials. So today, we're taking a little detour from our normal drawing thing.
What is our normal drawing?
I don't know. Like we usually attempt to draw something funny, punny, not terrible. But today, since we've just gotten so good, pause there for contemplation.
Mm-hmm. Or laughter.
Has it subsided yet? Do you think?
We might need to wait a while.
All right, let's give it another moment. Feel free to pause if you need longer than that, but we're going to do drawing tutorials today. And we are not just going to draw something simple, like simple things, like bowls of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to draw the hardest things possible.
Right.
Hands and faces.
Mm-hmm.
I get the honor of drawing hands,
Yeah.
which, as you know, terribly tricky to do.
Yeah, I mean, we get messages constantly saying, how do I draw a hand mangler strategy?
Yeah.
How do I draw a nose first strategy?
Like, despite the fact that nobody's wanted to publish a book using our techniques yet, we figured it was about time to reach out to the world and at least give you a way to copy our style.
Right.
Like we've copied certain things from Oliver, age 24. So without further ado, you're welcome in advance. Hopefully this makes it into your next school art project and art fair and art show.
Right.
Those are things, right? They have science fairs. They've got to have art fairs.
Of course. At all those art schools.
Yeah. We were down at Arizona State's art school the other day. I'm sure we've inspired more than one piece.
Yep.
But today, here we go. How to draw a hand. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Sorry, I was talking to myself. All right. So there's a lot of different ways you can draw hands because I'm sure you've all noticed there's usually more than one way a hand can be.
Yep.
It can be flat. It can be a fist. It can be, finger guns if you're being that guy.
It can be holding something.
Holding something. Drawing.
Yep.
Obscene
Thumbs up.
gestures.
But even other than that, you could have like the three-fingered, classic cartoon hand.
Yeah.
So you could have like a realistic hand.
So I'm going to give you a few, not all, of those different configurations. We're going to start with the classic, just hand on the table, like flat. Imagine, like, you put your hand right now up onto the screen. I'm basically going to draw what you're looking at right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to draw the left hand. That way I can look at my left hand and for inspiration. Yeah, I don't think we've ever talked about that. I'm not left-handed.
Is that something people have to talk about?
Well, I figure the people at home would like to know. Benj, what are you?
Well, Josh is the only one left-handed of all the people you've seen on this channel. Everyone else is right-handed.
So that means you're what?
Not left-handed.
So you're a righty, as they might say?
No.
Okay, right.
See, there's left-handed, and then there's not left-handed.
All right, how do you draw? Okay, here we go. And I'm not going to just trace my hand. This is not Thanksgiving turkey tutorial. So first you got to start with a thumb. And it's okay if your thumb doesn't look perfectly straight, because name one person's hand that's actually not got a couple of wrinkles. Go on.
Oh, I'm supposed to think of one. I've never seen it.
See?
Maybe
the trick with the tutorial is you have to draw these. This is the straight parts and the curved parts.
Right.
If you make the straight parts too straight, then it doesn't work. And if you make the curved parts not curved right, then it's not curved enough. So I'm just going to go from a curved to straight to curved to curved to straight to curved to straight.
Okay.
Keeping in mind that sometimes fingers appear thinner than they should, even though they might not be. See, I think of hands a lot, as I'm sure many of you do. Every time you stub your hand or have to give someone a high five. We'll come back to that finger in a moment. Sometimes people don't really think about their hands until they have to give a high five. Nobody thinks about their hands more, I would argue, actually, until you have to give a high five. Because, you know how it goes. You're like, you go for the high five, and then just like your two fingers brush the side of their hand, and you're like, oh, I've just thought about my hand and how bad that high five was, and we didn't make that satisfying, clap sound.
Right.
I'm just going to do anything to avoid actually talking about what we're looking at.
I noticed your pinky is significantly fatter than your pointer finger.
Well, see, some of it's a perspective thing.
And your thumb is significantly thinner than your ring finger.
My ring finger has a wedding ring on it.
So it swelled?
Well, I'm not talking specifically about me, but have you ever had that person who has a wedding ring and it's like they got married and you're looking at my hand noticing that I just don't have a wedding ring on right now. Yeah, it's over on my nightstand, I think. But sometimes people get wedding rings and then they they catch it on something. Like that happened to Jimmy Fallon. Do you remember that? He was like in his kitchen apparently, and he fell and he caught it on something and it ripped his whole finger.
I don't think his finger got fatter.
Well, no, this is another condition. That's just one thing that can happen because of wedding rings. Sometimes you have a bad reaction to the metal. If your spouse really skimped on the material, but they bought it from like a shady. The coat of a shady man in an alleyway.
But in this situation, was it like a stretchy ring that they were allergic to? Because like the ring, it's not squeezing in. Like,
see what you're forgetting is that the real reason his ring finger looks so bad has nothing to do with me or you or art. It has to do with the hand mangler. If this is your first video of ours that you've watched, you've heard us talk many times about...
Wait, if this is the first video?
Oh, if this is your first video that you've watched of ours...
Yeah, they've heard us talk about this
a lot?
Well,
you've never heard us talk about it. You're about to. But there is a man. He's more than a man, really. He's a legend. A terrible, horrible legend. A man of mystery and myth and misfortune.
Right.
Not for him, but for others. And he makes his way into our drawings, the worlds of our drawings, and he takes the hands of the people that live there and, well, I mean, you can see. Mangles them. This one at least made it out with all 5 fingers. The ring finger arguably is like a prosthetic, a bad one. But so is the pointer finger. And so is the thumb. But that's not really the point. The point is, now we continue with the tutorial. I'm going to go really detailed on this one, to the point of we're gonna not just do the curves and the straight lines. We're going to add the Yeah, what do they call these things? Fingernails.
Fingernails.
We'll come back to that finger. See, most people think fingernails are all the same. They'd be wrong. Sometimes you clip one too much.
That was way too.
Sometimes.
And that one's clearly bitten, not clipped.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes there's a cuticle emergency. Sometimes there's a bad manicure. That's a bad manicure nail, in case you're wondering. Sometimes they're just right.
Is that just right?
I mean, that's what I was going for.
It's also, that's the thumb. Like, how flat is your thumb when you're putting your hand on, like, have you ever had your thumb exactly flat on the same surface as the rest of your hand? Like, that's hard to do.
Well, again, I will cite that man. Here, I'll give it some extra skin flap there to really show that he's stretching it.
Well, yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying.
Again, I'm just gonna run with it that this is a prosthetic. Really bad.
Like, it doesn't look like a thumb. It looks like
That?
yeah. Because
There has
it's
been
so
all
flat
kind. Okay.
with everything else.
Okay. Let's just move on. Because the next part of the hand, once you've got the fingernail. Oh, by the way, I need to. Sorry, there's something I
Like,
meant to
weren't
add.
you looking at your hand?
No, I stopped looking.
Like, look at how my thumb's fingernail looks.
What's wrong with your thumb? It's like turned sideways.
Yeah. Because you can't flatten it.
I mean, like I said, if you're pressing it onto the screen.
No, try it right now.
I am.
Do it. You can't get your thumb.
There. If you use two hands.
Still not.
I don't want to hurt my thumb, but I could make it.
If you break your thumb.
Hand. See, you're doing it.
It looks so creepy.
This is about. Okay, moving on. You also have to remember that if you're going to go on a detailed drawing, you have to have the wrinkles in the right place, is what I call it. You have to have because your fingers are bendy, in case you forgot. You have these things called joints on the inside.
I don't know if bendy is the right word.
What would you call it? Flexible?
Like, they have joints.
Yeah, it makes it bendier. And these are, go look at I bet you've never thought about your finger wrinkles before this video. Now you're going to be self-conscious, but that's okay.
Why does that one have so many wrinkles?
Do I really need to explain it again? If in fact you were ever visited personally by the hand mangler, make sure that you have a good prosthetic doctor on call. Okay, let's move on. The thumb, as it is, doesn't get as many of these squiggles. And you can do the squiggles however you want. You can do some straight. You can do some wrinklier. You can do some... I'm going to do a curved one here. In fact, I'll come back and I'll add a couple of curved ones because I kind of like how they look. You can do vertical ones. Vertical wrinkles.
You can't do vertical wrinkles.
I mean, I don't have any personally, but go look at like an old man's hands. There's gonna be some vertical.
I don't think that's true.
Any grandfathers out there want to send us a picture of their hand?
You look up a picture of old man hand.
This is gonna go wrong quick. All right, now as you do that, I'm gonna move on to the knuckle wrinkles, which are a bit more subtle, and they're kind of there's definitely vertical knuckle wrinkles, I think. Those wrinkles are connected, as they sometimes do. These are, again, subtler, off to the side. And then really, once you're at this point, it's just about going back and preference. Like, I'm going to give this a tip of the fingernail. This one, as we've already mentioned, has been kind of chewed. Sometimes you want to put some dirt under the fingernails, just for, like, realism. Like, those two were used for, like, he used those two fingers for, like, the mechanic work on his car. And then, I mean, you could keep going. I'm gonna just like stop there. I'm gonna move the hand off screen as it is, just so we can.
I'm seeing some maybe diagonal if you were like are holding the hands and folding them,
Diagonal? Okay, I'll add some diagonal wrinkles.
but not any vertical.
Well, I'm sure it's happened once or twice. I'm sure there's like a.
Because people's hands don't fold.
It all depends on what profession you have. You know, like I'm sure there's like the guy. You know at restaurants how they have the people who have to like roll the silverware up, and they have to roll their hands like side to side probably, and it gives you side wrinkles if you do it for 30 or 40 years.
This is just not true facts.
All right, let's move on to a different kind of hand now because everyone is in awe of this one with the wrinkles and the straight lines and the curves.
I wasn't even paying attention. What's up with the wrinkles down there?
These
Those ones can be vertical.
Yeah, well, no, I put a couple
diagonal
See?
Yeah.
Okay,
so, you don't have.
I'm gonna add some X's because I look at mine and I see some little X's.
Yeah,
and some
like
diagonals.
that's where you can have vertical.
Well, see, I was close. And again, poor prosthetic makers don't know the difference between knuckle wrinkles and finger wrinkles.
That's just not true.
Anyway, it's just a really cheap prosthetic.
I think the cheapest prosthetic would still. What is that?
You know when you buy something and it's like the really cheap version and it has like a made in China like stamped in it and like you're like why'd they have to I bought a phone case one time and it was like right on the back made in China. I was like why it was like a clear phone case and the only thing on it was like this big stamped made in China. I was like nobody wants that. But I kept it because it was cheap.
Right.
Yeah. So all right, let's move on to thumb up hand tutorial. Thumb up is a little bit different because you have to get the curve of the thumb just right.
But everyone's just different.
Yeah, that's why it's art. So there's my thumb's curve. Comes around to this. And there we go. There's my thumb. And just for the people at home, I'm going to please you by putting the fingernail in the right place this time on the thumb. Because it's not flat on the table anymore. You're holding your...
I'm very glad.
If you hold up your thumb right now and give me a thumbs up, that's what you're seeing.
I'm very glad you didn't put that like on the side.
Of course I'm not going to put it on this side. It wouldn't make any sense for this.
But you did with the other one.
Okay, but now we have to move on to the tricky parts of the thumbs up, which is the actual other fingers. But again, okay, unlike the tutorial for this, where you have straights and curves, straight lines and curved lines, this is a lot more of just curves. It's a lot more just like get ready for there being curves in places you never expected. And again,
oh, it's so weird.
Well, yes, look at your hand as a thumbs up. Again, you've never thought about your hand as much as you will today in today's video, and that's because of us. There's the third one, and then the pinky's kind of like tucked up in here. And then somehow, due to... I'm going to add some 3D black over here to kind of give it a 3D, like, oh, the finger is actually back here, but it's curving around. So some 3D black lines. Just curved. And if you go over it again, like I'm going to go over this one again, you can make it 4D black.
How does that how it works?
4D black lines. And what you don't want to forget, really, is the fingernails. This is the same.
Square.
Well, again, despite the fact that this is the left hand and this is the right hand, something happened to this ring finger too. Maybe. Or maybe he just cuts his nail on that one.
Isn't someone's right hand.
It's their left hand. This is a right. Oh, no.
They're both left handed.
Oh, yeah. See? Okay, never mind. You're right. Yeah, it's one of those, what are called, French tips, I'm told. Very fancy in France. Like, we don't like a lot of French things in America. I feel like we don't need escargot, and everyone
Do we like anything French?
Everyone shaves their armpits and or no like
We don't shave our armpits.
the women do. That's a French stereotype, isn't it? And we like French fries, but those were made in America.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
The French don't accept them at all.
Yeah, see?
Like, you go to France, I don't even think you could get French
Okay,
fries.
so let's wrap up this. This one, you just have to kind of imagine that the hand kind of just.
What?
This is the. This is if you got fat hands like I do. That's just like the.
Just like the extra finger that's hidden. It's so hot. Like,
yeah, I may have overdone that, but
like,
okay.
I mean,
calm down.
I understand.
Calm down. Calm down. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna add.
Also, who does a thumbs up where all of the fingernails are visible? Yeah, that's weird. That's not how anyone does a thumbs up.
That's how you can do it that way though. Like if you look at it straight on, you might not even notice you're weird in doing it that way. Again, if today's video does nothing else for you other than teach you how to draw hands, the curves and the straight lines and the wrinkles in the correct places, it'll teach you to think about your hands more. Because I'll tell you what, I've never thought about my hands this much ever. Like I've looked at my hands more now than I've looked at them in years.
Like, to be fair, looking at my own hand doing a thumbs up also looks weird.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
But your drawing,
there's like those lines under. Yeah, like do you ever look at the inside lines of your hand? Like freaky lines. They're straight. They're deep. Like I think
the main
quite concerning
thing
actually.
is that first finger. That's just.
It's hard to get the
bent. It's not.
Yeah, I'll add some more lines. Lines cover a multitude of sins. I'm gonna give this guy a hangnail too. You ever had a hangnail? I'm gonna give him a couple hangnails
on every finger. How cruel!
Now it's curly. You ever done that where you like take a hangnail and you pull it?
I usually bite them off.
See, I carry.
Because if you pull it, it pulls the skin off.
I hate hangnails so much, and like when you get like a little bit of your nail that's like cutting into your hand, I have fingernail clippers in my at work. I have them in my car, so I'm like never more than like 5 minutes away from some.
Right.
So I don't have to eat my hands.
I have some at home, but like if I'm out and I have one, I just bite it off, and then when I get home, I fix it better.
All right, so pretty much my hand tutorial is done. We can add some more diagonal wrinkles if you really want. I'm pretty proud of this one. This one is just hand mangled. Like we can appreciate that. It happened. This part of the hand though I can't accept that it's so empty. Like look at your hand right here, everybody, on the back, like below your knuckles. Like, can you just see like your pores and the little hairs coming out? I guess I could. Here, let's make this really. We don't want it to feel empty. And really, you've never thought about these hairs on the back of your hand, but they've been there forever. And you should really pay them more attention. You'd care more if like you had to shave them. Do people shave? I bet like swimmers, like Olympic swimmers, they probably are very aware.
They don't shave. They probably just like
wax them.
Yeah, or some sort of. I imagine swimmers just like walk through some sort of like gel that melts off
like
the
a
hair.
like a nair shower. Just like melts off, just burns
like
off
all the hair's gone.
I bet there's like a room at every professional like Olympic pool meet where they just like go in and you just see the hair like wash out from under the door. It's quite concerning.
Yeah,
there's like a warning on the door, like don't go in. Toxic chemicals that used. They come out looking like unnaturally bald. That's why they have to put on a swim cap, because you're like, if people knew
how bald they were.
Like, isn't it weird that swimmers still have eyebrows? Like, I guess it's because they wear goggles over them.
Yeah.
Like, do they wear goggles? No. Do they? Does it go over their eyebrows? I don't think it does. You want to be the next Michael Phelps? Shave your eyebrows.
Shave
like,
everything.
to go the extra mile there, really, because they're hairless beyond belief everywhere else. So, all right. Well, I'm pretty happy with this. You've learned about the curved lines and the straight lines and the wrinkles and which directions they go. You've learned about hair hand hair. You've learned about cuticles, French tips. You've learned about hangnails, and that you should always keep a pair of clippers no more than 5 minutes from your person.
I mean, to be fair, these hands look better than I expected when you started this tutorial.
I've never done hands this beautiful before, if that tells you anything about. But again, look at how long it took. It took me a whole drawing, and this isn't a short drawing, just to do 2 hands. I'm not doing this on a daily, like, to do this on like a normal drawing? No.
Yeah.
All right. Time to give it a title, and like Oliver taught us all, my name and age, to make it a professional piece of art.
Yeah. What is the title?
I was just going to do tutorial.
Tutorial. Okay. Not like hands.
Tutorial.
Oh, 2 titles.
You're right. That's too much. Oh well. Can't erase.
No.
Can't erase. Time to make it an official piece of art. And if you learned something from this drawing, make sure to leave us a comment. Let us know how much your life is going to be improved.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is your turn, my friend, to show us the tutorial of the face.
Yes.
Or the head. Or what are you doing?
Yeah, the head.
The head.
Nose first strategy.
All right. Get your history books open so you can start copying down this next page. If they're like a history book author and they're one last page.
I just imagine our fans just like pulling out history books and writing, like adding a page to them.
You remember in school how like those how you'd have like textbooks that had been there since like your grandparents were in school?
No.
Oh, I do.
I was
Public school here, yeah. old ones, and you'd look and like people had written their names in it, like 1981, and you're like, oh man, this book sucks, and you're just like, oh well. But yeah, that's what you can do now. You can draw this in the back of a art textbook,
right? And you should
make sure to credit us.
Yeah,
we'll be in our first textbook, history. The art history book.
Yeah. You should hand that tablet over to me so I can show them mine.
There you go.
Now it's time for you guys to learn the secrets of nose first.
I'm proud of us for inventing new styles of art. I think this is how Picasso felt when he's like, yes, both eyes on the same side, plus horror everywhere else, and people are like, what an inspired man.
I wonder how, we don't have any records of how he drew. It's like, what was his strategy? Did he follow nose first? Was it eyes first?
You know, I've never looked at Picasso doing a drawing. I bet there's video. He was alive in modern times.
Yep. But like, did he, because like real artists like that take a long time on their art.
I feel like I've seen a lot of Picasso things where he like had a studio and he painted, but then he also did like, you can buy Picasso pencil sketches if you have a couple tens of thousands of dollars and bad taste. Like he did like, he realized he was famous in his lifetime to the point where he's like, I'm just going to do.
So
what the heck is
I'm going to start off.
This is not how you draw normally.
I'm going to start off drawing a front-facing head.
I don't know, in all the many times we've done drawings together, if I've seen a front-facing drawing more than maybe... You drew one a few weeks ago because you were mimicking how I draw. This is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
It already is creeping me out.
I don't know. Like, I've never really drawn a truly front-facing.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a horror show, but that's not the point. The point is, it makes sense to have nose first so you know where to place the eyes. If the eyes aren't at least almost touching the nose, like apparently this drawing.
See, that's where eyes are.
Yeah. See, tutorials, if nothing else today, are going to make you think about the configuration of your face and the wrinkles on your hands.
See, the weird thing is, the only face I have here for reference is Isaac's, but I'm very specifically trying to not make it look like Isaac.
That's encouraging, actually, because I
So-
was like, I don't know. There's something deep about the one eye that's slightly squinted on him, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you're literally like, look at Isaac's face and then draw the opposite of whatever that is, apparently. What if he turns out beautiful?
He's definitely got a mustache.
See, I don't hate this so far.
And
Because nose first doesn't really lend itself to much hate in the first 30 or 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm. He's got lips. Have a slight heart-shapedness to them.
Oh, how very romantic of him.
He's got...
This dude. So you draw the nose. How do you pick the shape of your nose? Like, this one is like one of those, like...
elephant.
It's not an elephant.
Not elephant nose.
Like an elephant foot?
Yeah.
The elephant foot nose.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with the elephant nose.
Then he's got hair.
You always give him... Why is his hair slightly heart-shaped also? It's just like the king of hearts. Like, it's got this slightly upside down...
Just how hair is.
I don't know if that's necessary. Is that how my hair is? No, it's the opposite on mine. So my hair is like deep in the middle and balding down the sides. It's actually weird that there's like no face or like line for the head yet. It's just like
Hair.
disembodied hair that has grown a face. Like a hairball, your cat coughed up, and you're like, wait, actually, it's got features.
Got features.
Tell me that wouldn't like, the stupid stuff. Oh, you're filling in his bald spot.
Yeah, he's not
The
bald.
opposite of me. But it's like one of those dumb things that would sell on eBay. Like, look, my cat coughed up this soggy hairball, and it slightly resembles Abraham Lincoln. And then it's like, $56,000 later, someone gets to retire.
He's got a chin, of course, and then
Mm.
got
Okay. Oh my. This guy's really turning ugly. Something about that chin placement just...
and then his hair is like a little bit longer than
I don't want to call it a mullet. But it's also
It's
like
not.
someone took like a circular carpet and just like threw it on the back of his hair and then cut a like widow's peak in the top. It's all like, you can tell it's all just one piece.
Yeah, and then like he's got ears, but they go into the hair, so you can't really tell that they're
They
ears.
start awfully close to the lips. Like those are on the front of his face. The ears should be at least back on the...
That's why you only see a little bit of them.
He has really weird
You
ears.
know what? Fine. It's just hair. He doesn't have ears.
See what I'm always saying? Hair covers a multitude of sins. Now, if you made them poking out the sides of the hair, you could just argue that he's got really big ears. That sort of helped.
Yeah. See, but in a real life person, the ears start around the lips and go up to about the
No,
eyes.
they do not.
Look at me. Look at where my ears are. Down here, right here.
They're like, parallel with your mustache. Oh, okay.
They're about where the
Yeah,
lips
but they're
are, and
further-
The
but
top of the ear.
You drew them.
The
You drew them like on his cheek. Like,
The ears go from
your ears
here
are not on your
to
cheek,
here.
as far as I would.
Here, you know
But they
what?
do
I'm gonna,
kinda
I'm
touch
gonna,
your
I'm gonna
cheek.
have them come out. I'm gonna have them come out. They come out here and go to there.
See, that looks.
That's
He's
the ears.
really big ear. It's almost like he's wearing earmuffs at this point. But
like that's where your ears are. Your ears are like
okay, this looks better than when they were like creeping up towards his nose.
I know they were too close. They were in the middle of his face.
Like that would be quite disturbing.
Yeah. So I'm just saying this is what a human looks like.
You'd be hard pressed to describe what you drew as not a human. His mustache is kind of crooked though. Like there was like a shaving mishap. You just darkened it. You didn't really straighten it. That also doesn't.
Just making it more like the same. What
It's
my
slightly
question
better.
is, like, what race is this guy?
I'm getting like, I don't know. I'm getting like, I don't know. He could be like Greek. I'm gonna go with Greek. He looks Greek to me. I don't know why. I don't know what features I would say. Well, he's shirtless now. So just leave it. No, leave your artistic.
I like how I made it. He's like slightly turned, but his head is like turned.
No. He is like, this is like, this is slightly too PG-13 for our channel now. Like, this guy is
So now
this guy's a babe magnet now. He's just,
Whispering in
all the
this
girls
guy's-
coming to watch him.
whispering in this guy's ear, I'm going to do one of my standard.
Whispering in his ear. It's so handsome and alluring at this point. Now you're going to ruin it with some creep.
So here's nose first strategy.
Wait, so this is what we would see if this guy turned to the side?
Yeah.
I never knew your people looked like, oh gosh, it's so deep. His mouth is like, oh my gosh. He's the it keeps getting weirder the more I look at him. The way he has like one eye, like he knows that he's modeling for us. And then this horror show is next to him. Man, this thing, I don't know if your people are just not normally this zoomed in. But the detail, maybe it's just like in contrast to what a real person looks like.
Yeah, like so like this is clearly nose first, and then the mouth that comes over here. And then you got eyes. So eyes are big. They're bigger than the nose. Like look at any person. Their eyes are bigger than their nose.
I'm looking at you. I don't know that your eyes are.
So, you got to just have one giant eye.
This thing next to him, like there are going to be people online who love the man in the middle. Like he's like going to be
and then the other eye like bulges out past the first eye.
Oh, it's so scary looking now. It's so close up. Your guy in the middle is going to be like in the Greek fireman calendar.
And then you got just like hair that just
this guy on the right is gonna be so
your
oh
hair
my gosh.
Your hair goes over your eyes, as you know. I mean, obviously all
For
emo
you it
people
literally
know that,
does.
but that's just how it works.
For Mr. Macho over there it doesn't.
And then this guy's also got a mustache.
I'm glad you made it longer so it doesn't like just straight up resemble Hitler.
Yeah, you gotta make it not Hitler stash. Just in case somebody, watches our channel.
I'm just saying that your drawing is going to be downloaded and then the guy on the right is going to be edited out. So, someone's going to be like, oh man, this is my Greek dream. And then someone's like, yeah, but that guy on the right is so creepy. Whispering. You said whispering in his ear. He's like whispering at his neck. You. I love the long pause, wondering where the apostrophe goes. He is not wrong.
Is whispering.
You know who your guy actually reminds me of a bit? The guy in the middle. I don't accept the guy. Right? This drawing would be better if there was just like a person off camera whispering this.
just like
just
you
like
can't- you
just
can't
like
see
the
my hand, but
nose
just,
and
like,
the lips. Yeah.
shift it.
Yeah.
So
your
like
guy
you're
though,
saying, you're saying over here, I should draw just like coming out, just like a nose and like lips.
I've remembered who your guy reminds me of a bit in the middle, and I don't know where the guy in the movie is from either. But in Spider-Man 3, there's a guy who is Spider-Man's landlord. You know what I'm talking about? In Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, there's a guy. Oh no, sorry. See, yeah, that is great. Did you draw the? I wasn't even looking. Did you draw the nose first?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Nose
Yeah,
first.
that's the ideal
The,
nose
the
first.
whole point of this is nose first.
That one on the left. Your drawing's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's so good. It's such a good tutorial. This is gonna revolutionize art. He kind of looks like this guy, like a younger, handsomer version of this guy.
Right.
We'll have to show you this
And
guy
he was,
somehow.
He was Greek, right?
I don't
He
know.
was something. He was like one of those like generic small countries that don't exist
I mean,
type of guy.
I'm looking up his last name, where he's from, but you can just keep going while I do this. Although
I think at this point,
I think you've reached your.
I'm just gonna write tutorial up here, and hopefully spell it right.
Looking up this guy's profile on like the Marvel Wikipedia thing, it just says he's of Eastern European descent. Doesn't really give much. But yeah, it's pretty. He's Eastern European, your guy,
Mhm.
and he's totally just like a younger, handsomer version of that landlord. Like he just became a landlord after his modeling career fell through
Right.
because he realized there was too many creepy people whispering at him in the modeling world. This might be my new favorite drawing of yours.
It's a tutorial.
You should draw front-facing people more often, because your guy on the right is just making me realize how horrifying people are zoomed in. It's like that picture we saw a few months ago. Like they took a picture of an ant with like a super camera, like zoomed in. It's horrifying, like a horror monster.
Right.
Your normal nose first giant eye people are creepy zoomed up.
This is what people look like. If you turn to your side, that's what you look like.
But Mr. Universe there in the middle is much different.
His body's slightly turned to the side.
Yeah, no.
He's doing like the model.
He knows he's beautiful.
And so
He
do the
knows.
people that follow around.
Yeah, this is just like him walking down the street shirtless. No one even cares that his mustache is like slightly askew.
This gives him personality.
Oh man. Wow. Well, you've definitely learned stuff from this tutorial of nose first, and now you can go out and draw this guy.
Yep. Now you know how to draw nose first in every direction.
I'm pretty sure when we open up the Two Poor Artists Hotel, the room with this drawing is just booked years in advance. Like, that's exactly right. It's although again,
Book the rooms by the art. That's it.
yes,
That's like how it's listed on the website.
that would be. Yeah, you're not in like room 56. You're in room face tutorial. Although I imagine when this is framed and put on the wall, they're gonna like crop out the creepy guy on the right too. Oh man, we should do more tutorials in the future. We're so good at them.
And people can learn.
Yeah. Now just imagine your guy with my hands. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
we should probably mention some of our comment things that we had.
don't ever let it be said that the Two Poor Artists don't love our fans, despite what we draw for you. But yeah, we saw the poll. We saw you looked at our Super Bowl drawings, and based on those alone, decided who should have won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And rightly so, you chose Benj's chief chef over my sad, depressed eagle man.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, which I might be, they actually did win.
They did. So our
I saw
drawings.
people wearing outfits with the Chiefs on it after the
And
Super Bowl ended.
they're still like they hadn't
Like, they're
like
still,
took them
like-
off and burned them.
Yeah. So they must have won.
Yeah, no, they did. So we predicted the future.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be like the Simpsons in a few years. Like, look at this: 3 hours
Yep.
before, 2 hours before.
Unfortunately, the most important vote was for SpongeBob to do the halftime show.
That still hasn't happened.
Which didn't happen.
No one cares about the Super Bowl halftime show. Either they're like disturbed by it
Mm-hmm.
or indifferent.
Yeah.
Super Bowl with SpongeBob at the halftime show would be incredible.
Everyone would love it. And then last week we asked what you guys thought was the perfect date.
And according to you, the fans, there are two.
Yep.
The perfect date is either December 25th,
Mm-hmm. Which is, I mean, Christmas.
Christmas
so,
Day, hard to beat,
Yep.
or
Going to the NBA game.
at an
Just
NBA
any
game.
Any game at the NBA.
So if you could find a way to have an NBA game on Christmas,
Yep.
that would be the perfect date.
Mm-hmm. It's clear, I think, from this that we didn't have enough girls saying what their preference
Yeah,
is.
that's a shame too. Although I think it's pretty obvious that any girl's perfect date is him. Right there on the screen.
Mr. Face Tutorial.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's his name.
Mr. Face Tutorial. Definitely not Mr. Bug Eyes on the right. Or Mr. Creepy Lips on the left. Well, enjoy. Go out and do a drawing. Put them together. Show the world what you've learned from the two poor artists.
Yep. Try to draw this guy with the hands.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
As always, we're surprised you made it this far into our video.
There's no way we could possibly ask you to subscribe to this atrocity, so we won't.
We would say share it with your friends, but it's probably better for wasting your enemy's time.
We're probably not going to get any better, but we will keep drawing.
See you next time.